Hey everyone, I was too lazy to clean up this horrible mess of a room, so I just sort of shoved myself into a corner instead of setting up the set today. But welcome to our first bargain bin review, where we take a $20 or less game and we review it. I think that part's pretty obvious. But for our first one ever, I wanted to pick something I'm familiar with, something I know pretty well. So we decided to go with Dragon Ball. And which of the, I don't know, like 30 or so Dragon Ball games there are, we went with Dragon Ball Xenoverse. This isn't Dragon Ball Xenoverse. This is the manga. I didn't have a physical copy of Xenoverse. But, it's close enough. But, so let's get started. Let's dive into the fantastical world of Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball. Cue voiceover. Dragon Ball Xenoverse was released in Japan on February 5th, 2015, and North America and Europe later that same month. The story follows your own original Dragon Ball on their journey to gather the Dragon Balls so that they may become the greatest Dragon Ball in all of Dragon Ball. But seriously though, the story focuses on a character that you make yourself, comprising of either a human, Saiyan, Namekian, Majin, or Frieza race, assisting future Trunks in fixing the time distortions that have popped up throughout the Dragon Ball Z timeline. Xenoverse is a game spawned from many ideas that were present in the now defunct Dragon Ball Online, including the Time Patrol, two of the main villains, Mira and Toa, and the Supreme Kai of Time. Speaking of, yours and Trunks' boss in this game is a tiny lolly millions of years old, who, I don't really feel like going through this, so I'll let Trunks introduce her.
Hello there. This is the master of the Time Nest. She's the Supreme Kai of Time, and a very important person. She manages the flow of time throughout the entire universe, keeping a close eye on history and protecting it. What are you doing?
Really? Just what in the heck do you think you're doing? What is your deal today? Are you using my head as a perch now? Shut up! I don't care if you're mad. I demand an apology. You're heavier than you look, you know. Hey, wait a minute.
As I said, she's a very important person. Just trust me.
Xenoverse's main goal seems to just sort of replay the series, like either for returning fans or to introduce new people. It takes you from Raditz to Beerus, while DLC handles GT and a little bit of Resurrection F. But that sort of leaves original Dragon Hall. Yeah, coming soon to a theater near you. Dragon Hall. It's the high school of dragons. Dragon Ball behind, even though it's referenced with certain equipments and skills. But that sort of brings me into some of the good features of this game. Its pseudo-RPG elements give you a lot of control on how to play your character, changing it up with different stat builds, or just the insane amount of skills you can learn. And it's like you could be a Saiyan that fights like Piccolo, or a Majin that fights like Goku. You can even dress like your favorite character as well, or use some of the color customizable outfits for your race, which I kind of preferred. I mean, I like dressing up like, Dragon Ball Z characters and all, but, the combat, while rather simple, gradually does have a difficulty curve, and by difficulty curve, I mean HP goes up, and stats go up, and the AI starts spamming their moves. Let's just say father and son Kamehameha is pretty infuriating. One of the biggest drawbacks of Xenoverse is also one of its best parts. There are about 70, I believe, parallel quests in the game, including the DLC. These quests are introduced in an interesting way, leftover messed up timelines that result in a spectacular scenario, like fighting with the Ginyu Force, or Vegeta going Super Saiyan against Frieza. but they also bring it back, as I mentioned, its biggest drawback, the grindiness of the game. You see that Vegeta going Super Saiyan thing is all up to RNGesus. And getting a certain skill or equipment is also all up to RNGesus. I'll have a link to an Urban Dictionary thing of what RNGesus is in the description. But, you know, you want to be a Super Saiyan? That's great. But you gotta grind a specific parallel quest for hours until that skill drops, or wait until it's late enough in the game that Super Saiyan isn't really the best thing out there. Want to get almost any of Goku's Gis past his first Eternal Hermit one? You gotta grind parallel quest. It's a serious problem to the game, and it might turn some people off to it. I enjoy grinding myself, but to a limit. When the majority of the progression of a game is grinding, it can really put off your audience. Like, when there's a set goal in mind that you can see when it comes to, like, experience points or something similar, that's fine to me. Like, even if I get bored, other people at least have a goal in mind that's easier to obtain. When it's all up to just random, it sorta gets lost in just spending hours doing the exact same thing over and over again with literally zero reward. With all that being said, Xenoverse does its purpose and does it well. With a decent original story tied pretty decently into the Dragon Ball timeline, it is a great game for new and old fans of Dragon Ball. Unfortunately, it's trying to sell itself as part of the franchise because Dragon Ball. That's going to happen no matter what products of that franchise now. I mean, just look at Super.
Yeah, look at all that nostalgia. Oh, fuck yes. Oh, delicious.
All in all, I would give Xenoverse a 7 out of 10. I had a lot of fun playing it, and the things that really got me were the combat being rather lackluster and the RNG progression. I didn't really have a chance to play with the multiplayer, but hopefully if I do Xenoverse 2, I'll be able to. But thanks for watching, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and stay tuned for our next Bargain Bin review, Planet Green.